What's up guys, Troy here, and welcome to the first episode of a new series that I like to call Troy's Toy Box. This is basically going to be a series that focuses on some of my favorite guns that I've found myself playing around with quite a bit in the game of Battlefield 4. I do want to state up front that this is not really a show about weapon reviews. We all know those are fairly common in the Battlefield YouTube community, really any community that focuses on any franchise game, like Battlefields, the Call of Duties, all those other games that feature a bunch of legacy weapons. I really don't want to talk about reviews and raw stats or anything like that. I just want to give my basic opinions on it, why I like to use it, and why it happens to be in my toy box, so to speak. But today we're going to focus on the M16A4. That is right, an M16, how overused in Battlefield that is, sarcasm aside. Now lately I've been playing around with a lot of the assault rifles, the 416. I just unlocked the Galil Ace 23, which I'm happy to see that if you watch my guns videos from a few months ago, that DICE actually kind of granted my part of my gun wish list of guns I'd like to see in Battlefield 4 and putting a Galil in. Certainly really appreciate them listening to feedback of what their fans and customers of their future games like to see. But I've also been using the AEK, an old Battlefield favorite, and of course the 416 and a couple of the carbines as well. But today I wanted to talk about the M16A4. This actual gameplay is some domination, probably one of my most played game modes the last few weeks. I've been playing a lot of domination on the maps. Certainly like playing it on pretty much every map except the flood zone, flood control, or whatever it's called. But this one happens to be Dawnbreaker. I certainly like this map. It's a good mix, especially in domination. It's a good mix of these long sight lines and cross angles for the long range gameplay, and some good close quarters gameplay once you start to get into the middle flag and into the hallways and corridors of the building that the flags happen to be occupying. And I want to talk about a little bit about the M16A4. It's pretty much identical to the M16A3 that does not make an appearance in Battlefield 4. So sorry to hear that. Same with the M4A1. It's pretty much, stats-wise, it's about the same. It's just the burst fire variant, just like it was in Battlefield 3. I actually used this weapon quite a bit in Battlefield 3. The first 2 to 3 months the game was out, before they dropped that huge balancing patch that basically left no part of the game of Battlefield 3 untouched within that patch, and one of the biggest changes, of course, was the heavy barrel attachment and the stats associated with that attachment. That certainly stopped me from using the M16A4 within Battlefield 3. It used to be my go-to long-range weapon along with the AN-94. One of the big things that was overlooked in Battlefield 3 about the M16A3, it was second only to the AS-VAL in terms of accuracy, which is basically the least amount of spread of any weapon in game, ADS spread. And it had just slightly a little bit more spread than the AS-VAL, so it was actually the second most accurate weapon within the game. A lot of things, but one big thing that's kind of overlooked when you talk about that. But here on Dawnbreaker in Battlefield 4, I'm really not using any attachments except the American red dot sight. I haven't unlocked anything else for it yet. I believe I might have. I was really, at the time of this gameplay was recorded 2 nights ago, I was really trying to focus on completing the Assault Expert assignment. That took me a good 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 games actually to unlock. But another thing I wanted to talk about, besides just this weapon, it's starting to become a favorite of mine. I can definitely see myself getting quite a few service stars with it, especially on maps like this. But it's just Battlefield 4 in general, and I've really been struggling with this game as of late. To kind of put it in perspective on PC for Battlefield 3, I hold around 800 score per minute, 2.5, 2.6 kill to death ratio. I've had it close to 3.0 before. Had a couple of bad games, it's gone down since then, but in Battlefield 4 I'm struggling to maintain 300 score per minute and a 1.5 KD. I really don't understand what the deal is. The time to kill on a lot of the weapons seems to be off. The netcode is still having problems, despite the fact that they did release that 1 gig patch just a few days ago. That seems to have fixed a lot of the server crashes, a lot of the game crashes, but if the individual netcode is not really something that you can just patch in a game. That requires reworking your whole internet infrastructure that your servers are actually housed on. It's something you can't just patch through software and through the client. It doesn't work that way. So you're still going to get shot around corners. The time to kill, like I said, seems to be off. And if you look at a lot of the stats for the weapons that are in both Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, not much has changed, especially not the damage and not the drop-offs are pretty much identical to what they were in Battlefield 3, so really the time to kill shouldn't be any different. Certainly I think the spawn system really needs to be worked. I really think that before you come out of the black screen, that the opposing enemies and the opposing force can see you spawn in before you can even see the environment around you. So there's that delay that needs to be synced up. That's not fair. It's either that or they need to bring back spawn protection. And while spawn protection was certainly something that was complained about in Battlefield 3, I really don't think it was game breaking, and I certainly don't think it warranted the level of complaints that it had. It's something I would like to see return to Battlefield 4 or fix a spawn system where we don't need spawn protection, but it seems that the spawn system is nothing short of broken. There are many times where I spawn on squad mate and I'm insta-killed, or I spawn on a squad mate, that squad mate is safe and well, and it spawns me at the spawn and not the squad mate. So I don't really know what the deal with this spawn system is, but I certainly think it needs to be reworked. But guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Troy's Toy Box. I certainly like to hear what you guys think about the M16A4. I'm liking it, but as always, appreciate you watching the video, and take care.